I want to talk to you about Zelle for Business. And when you hear Zelle, a lot of folks think about the personal transactions, but there is a possibility to actually link a payment method to your Zelle Business account. And so here is a synopsis I want you to pay attention to. So the thing is, when you think about Zelle for Business, think about a very streamlined way to actually accept customer payments, but you may need additional payment solutions too. So that's kind of cool in terms of flexibility and also in terms of managing your cash inflows and cash outflows. So think of Zelle as a peer-to-peer or P2P money transfer service and digital payment network. So Zelle is also a digital payment network. They actually were started as a peer-to-peer transfer service, but later on they have added the digital payment network possibility. So while it's designed for consumer banking, you can actually use Zelle for business purposes to accept customer payments with a linked business bank account. And that's kind of cool in terms of flexibility because you can get your payment transferred a lot faster. So if your business bank supports, let's say Zelle, the Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, and US Bank do actually support the service. So it is really actually a great option for fee-free contactless payments. But since Zelle lacks features your business will likely want, like accepting credit card payments, it probably will not be the only payment processing company that you need. So you might have a Zelle, but you can also have PayPal. You can also have Stripe, and so that's kind of important to think about. And so now, who can use Zelle for Business? Well, though thousands of financial institutions offer Zelle, they do not all support business account use. So for your business to use Zelle to accept payments, you will need to have a business bank account with a financial institution that does. So that's kind of cool. Now, the following, and we'll put this on the screen, the following banks support Zelle for business use. So you have a Bank of America, you have BMO Harris, you have Chase, you have Citibank, you have Huntington Bank. You also have a PNC, you have TD Bank, you have Truist, you have US Bank, and Wells Fargo. So that's kind of cool. And now the thing is that if you are using a different small business bank, you can find out if it really offers a Zelle through your mobile banking app. And if it does, pretty easy. I mean, all you have to do is to enroll using a mobile number and email address. And if you already have a personal Zelle account, you may need to use a different contact information for your business. So I want to talk to you about how Zelle for Business actually works. Okay, I mean, if you're already using a Zelle for individual transactions, you probably know a little bit about how Zelle does work in the first place. So to use Zelle for your business, both you and your customers must set up Zelle on your mobile phone or via online banking. So if you have customers with whom you have a sort of a significant transaction amount every single month or every single day or every single quarter, then they both support. I mean, you support Zelle and they support Zelle also. You're good. Now your customers do not need to belong to the same bank as you. Just another participating U.S. bank Zelle, and actually that Zelle actually has registered. So the bank has to be in the Zelle network. So that's an important element to think about. And now customers also have the option to download the standalone Zelle app and link a debit card. And after that, the customer can pay following those steps. So we are going to put 3 steps on the screen. So you can actually provide your Zelle business info. You have to input those details and you can receive confirmation. So when I speak about providing your Zelle business info, the business provides the Zelle customer with its Zelle contact information, typically a phone number or email address linked to the account. So that's kind of pretty straightforward. You may also be able to show your customer a Zelle QR code if you have seen it or you have used that possibility in the past. And so next you have to input details. So the customer will use your contact information and payment amount to send the payment. And Zelle often sends a security code via text message or phone call for first-time recipients to actually verify the transaction, because Zelle is pretty adamant to make sure that the transactions happening on its platform are really authenticated. And next, you have to receive confirmation. So the recipient, the business owner or employee, will get a notification from Zelle, typically via a text message, that the payment has been received. I want to talk to you about cost here. I want to talk about payments and how much does it cost. So how much does Zelle cost businesses? Now, Zelle does not charge directly fees for business and personal transactions, and transaction limits and fees are actually determined by each user's bank, not Zelle. And those transaction limits and fees can actually vary. In general, and this is what we have seen based on our investigations. In general, most business banks do not charge fees for Zelle, but they do place limits on transactions. Now, those limits are not there because they're trying to really make things complicated for you. It's because of regulatory purposes. So there's something called AML, anti-money laundering, and so the government, the U.S. government, has imposed some limits around monetary inflows and outflows. So that's what the banks are following. And let me give you a few examples. So Bank of America caps how much small businesses can send at the $15,000 per 24 hours, $45,000 in a 7-day span, and $60,000 every 30 days. And you are limited to 20 transactions per day and 120 per month. And so that's for Bank of America. Let's talk about Chase here. Well, Chase users can send up to $7,500 per Zelle Business transaction. So you can see that Chase is it's stricter. Chase is stricter than Bank of America when it comes to monetary inflows and monetary outflows. And what about Wells Fargo? Now, Wells Fargo as well as U.S. Bank, they do limit their limit actually. They limit the transaction amount by user and by recipient. It really depends on the chronology, the timing, but also the history of transactions in your account. So Wells Fargo and U.S. Bank, actually, they will analyze your transactional volume to see where you are at, and they will actually will impose the limits accordingly. Now, consumers whose bank or credit union doesn't offer Zelle can send up to $500 per week in the Zelle app. So that's kind of limited, okay? But you can actually send in the Zelle app via a linked debit card. And businesses must be enrolled with a Zelle network bank to actually receive payments. Let's talk about the evaluation here. So when we think about Zelle for Business, what are the pros and cons? So it's important to really know exactly what you're getting yourself into. So I want to talk about the benefits of using Zelle for Business. So you have no fees, you have contactless payments, and you have fast transfers. So in terms of cash inflows, you are really well served. Let me break it down for you. So when I speak about no fees, well, it's just because Zelle, as I said a little earlier, doesn't charge fees to send or receive money for businesses or customers. Very few banks charge fees to use Zelle either, but it's best to check with your bank about potential fees as well as transaction limits before receiving payments. In terms of contactless payments, we are speaking here about flexibility, right? With Zelle and other P2P apps, P2P, peer-to-peer apps, customers can actually pay without cash, cards, or even using the checkout terminal. That means what? It means they don't have to share sensitive account details either, like credit card numbers, and that's why a lot of customers like this possibility. And so if you are a cash-only business or taking one-off in-person payments, like at a public fair or market, using Zelle can give you an extra way to accept payments without needing a point-of-sale system. So that's kind of cool. And the third benefit of actually using Zelle is you have fast transfers. So unlike payment processors and other P2P apps, Zelle facilitates direct transfers between bank account, and Zelle payments typically arrive within minutes. Now remember though, we are speaking about the US market. So when we speak about Zelle, we're not speaking about an international, let's say a foreign bank. So if you have a foreign bank, you cannot actually participate within the Zelle network. So one thing I want to say is that overall, when we think about the benefits of using Zelle for business, think about affordability in terms of having no fees to pay. Think about contactless payments. So here we are speaking about flexibility as well as efficiency in terms of payments, and most importantly, you are thinking about speed. So we have fast transfers. I want to talk to you about the drawbacks. So I've just explained to you what the pros were. Now let's speak about the minuses, the cons. So Zelle actually doesn't support credit cards. So this is a bummer, but hey, listen, it is what it is. You have no purchase protection. And basically, the network, the Zelle network, as I just said, is only available in the US. So what do I mean when I speak about a platform that doesn't support credit cards? Well, since Zelle is a direct bank account transfer service, credit cards cannot be connected to make payments, and other P2P apps like Venmo and PayPal will link credit cards for a fee. And your customers may want the option to pay with credit cards. So most businesses eventually need to turn to a payment processor to support them. So you have no purchase protection. So this is an important element to think about. And from a liquidity inflow point of view, this really matters a lot. Zelle doesn't protect payments made within the network, and payments cannot be canceled if sent to the wrong person. So this is an important element to think about. And the platform recommends only sending payments to people you know and trust, making sure you are using the right email address, and also proceeding with caution before using Zelle for purchases. And because of this, customers actually may prefer a more secure payment method. They can actually guarantee refunds because that's what you want, right? You want to have safety in terms of payments. You want to have assurance that your payment will be taken care of. Now, one thing for sure, purchases you make for your business with Zelle generally are not protected either. So don't transfer funds until you are certain that they are going to the right place. And last but not the least, the Zelle network is only available in the US. So Zelle cannot be used with international bank accounts. I just said that, and both parties need to actually bank with US-based financial institutions within the Zelle network. So because of this service is not a great fit in our view for let's say businesses operating abroad or having transactions with outside customers or vendors for that matter. So let's talk about the alternatives to Zelle for Business. So if you're listening to me right now for any reason you don't like the pros and cons, or you don't like the possibilities that are afforded with the Zelle network, you can try Venmo, for instance. You can try Cash App, or you can try Chase Quick Accept. Let's break it down for you. So when you think about Venmo, Venmo is a peer-to-peer money transfer app that has features for small business use. And again, we're not speaking here about large business. We're not speaking about medium-sized enterprise. We are speaking about very small business as well as micro business. And the businesses can register for the platform with a business account and incorporate payments with Venmo's parent company, PayPal. So by the way, Venmo is owned by PayPal. And so Venmo also facilitates returns and sends business users receiving over $600 per year a 1099-K tax form, unlike Zelle. This is kind of cool. This is really a biggie because it really streamlines the process for you, especially around tax season. So unlike Zelle, the service charges a merchant fee. So that's 1.9% plus 10 cents per transaction, and doesn't transfer directly to your bank account. Instant transfers cost 1.5% of the amount transferred, with a minimum fee of 25 cents and a maximum fee of $15. You can avoid an additional transfer fee if you opt to get your money in one to three business days. Okay, so if you're looking for 1 to 3 business days, you are actually you can get your cash without paying anything. And let's talk about Cash App. So Cash App actually is a peer-to-peer app that integrates with Square, a popular POS system for many small businesses. Both services are owned by Block, and the platforms can share data, and storage checkout devices can display Cash App QR codes for direct payments. And there are no platform-specific fees, just Square's standard processing rate of 2.6% plus 10 cents for card-present transactions, or 2.9% plus 30 cents for card-not-present transactions. And instant bank transfers are free for business accounts, and Cash App does not offer chargeback protection and does not add on chargeback fees either. So that's kind of cool in terms of flexibility. We love that a lot. Next, I want to share with you as an alternative to Zelle for Business. You can actually go for Chase Quick Accept. Now, the thing is that when you actually go with Chase Quick Accept, you are entering Chase's ecosystem, right? So if you do your business banking with Chase, you can use the bank's built-in payment processing service to accept credit and debit card payments directly into your bank account. So that's kind of cool in terms of flexibility. We love that a lot, but you have to accept actually be with Chase. And we actually did a video about how to open a business account with Chase. So if you, for any reason, if you need to have that info, please go back and watch that show. So like using Zelle for Business, the payments that actually the payments that are processed through Chase will generally appear in your account on the same business day or the next business day if you took the payment during evening or weekend hours. By the way, I just need to also say that Chase is part of the Zelle network. Okay, and so Chase actually has its own quick accept payment conduit in addition to being part of the Zelle network. One thing I need to say that Chase Quick Accept is not free. Chase through Zelle is free, but Chase Quick Accept is not free. You will pay 2.6% plus 10 cents for each tap to pay transactions, and 3.5% plus 10 cents for manual transactions and payments via links that you have sent. I mean, so that's what we call card present versus card not present transactions. So card not present transactions will cost you a lot more because there is a risk of fraud, whereas card present transactions are they'll actually cost you less, and less means what? Less means 2.6% plus 10 cents for each tap to pay transaction. Now, if you want hardware that lets you swipe a credit card, you have to buy that separately. So, I mean, this could be a POS or this could be a mobile card reader. So that's kind of cool. So in the end, what is our funding here? Today's conversation, I spoke to you about Zelle for Business. I give you the synopsis, the evaluation, and now the funding. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.